Holocaust remembrance turned into a call for war. At Yad Vashem, Netanyahu draws a line from history to Iran, then tells Europe it can learn from Israel how to fight. A plea or a warning? In a moment meant for memory, the message was clear. This is about what comes next. The torches were lit at Yad Vashem on the evening of April 13th. Elderly survivors stood at the ceremony, some who had lived through the camps, now watching a country at war. But something was missing. Unlike any other time in recent memory, the central ceremony was pre-recorded this year. The security situation too fragile for a live event, as Hezbollah and Iran's threats loomed over the Israeli skies. It was in that setting that Benjamin Netanyahu drew a direct line from the Holocaust to the strikes on Iran.
Sadly, during the Holocaust, we were a stricken creature crying out in agony. Today, however, we have a state stronger than ever, roaring with power in Operation Rising Lion, and even more so in Operation Roaring Lion. Israel now stands alongside the United States at the forefront of the free world. Together, we have struck devastating blows against the evil regime in Iran.
Netanyahu added Israel and the US had struck the Iranian regime harder than at any point in its history, and that without those strikes, the names Natanz, Fordow, Isfahan, and Parshin might have been spoken of in the same breath as Auschwitz and Treblinka. But then Bibi said something nobody was expecting. He turned to Europe. Netanyahu accused the continent of deep moral weakness, of losing control of its identity and values, and of forgetting the lessons of the Holocaust. Israel, he said, was now defending Europe whether Europe acknowledged it or not.
Europe, which has forgotten so much since the Holocaust, can learn many things from us. Primarily, the sharp distinction between good and evil, which, in the moment of truth, requires us to go to war for the sake of good, for the sake of life. Europe, which faltered after the Second World War in defending what is right, now suffers from deep moral weakness. Europe is losing control of its identity, its values, and its commitment to defending civilization from barbarism.
Israel's Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich echoed that tone hours later, targeting German Chancellor Friedrich Merz directly after Merz warned Israel against the de facto annexation of the West Bank.
The current Chancellor of Germany is not the first brazen Chancellor to preach morals to us, and what's more, on the eve of Holocaust-Remembrance-Day.
In Israel's remembrance of the darkest event of its history, no doves were left to fly, and no songs of peace were sung either. What made noise in Tel Aviv were calls for war and a sense of vengeance, old and new. Now, whether this is rhetoric or something that sets a precedent going forward remains to be seen. In the middle of a war, Israel has a new spy chief in waiting, but his appointment has too many questions surrounding it. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu signed off on the appointment of Major General Roman Goffman as the next head of the agency, replacing incumbent director David Barnea when his 5-year term expires on June 2nd. The timing of the appointment has drawn attention for another reason. Reports have circulated that Barnea was killed in an Iranian missile strike, though these remain unverified. Israeli officials and major news outlets have not confirmed his death, and the appointment itself was framed officially as a straightforward succession at the end of Barnea's term, even quoting him opposing the succession. However, interestingly, Barnea has not been seen in public since the reports of him being attacked by Iran. The appointment cleared a vetting committee headed by former Supreme Court Chief Justice Asher Grunis, after months of delay over prior controversies, including a censure Goffman received for authorizing a minor to participate in an unapproved psychological warfare operation while commanding the 210th Division. Netanyahu was unequivocal in his backing.
After it was approved by the Grunis Committee, I signed tonight on the appointment of Major General Roman Goffman to the role of the next Mossad chief. Major General Goffman has served as my military secretary for the past 2 years. He is an outstanding officer, bold and creative, who has demonstrated throughout the war a perspective outside the box and impressive resourcefulness.
Not everyone agreed. Ori El-Makais, the miner used in that influence operation, said,
"Whoever abandoned a 17-year-old boy will abandon Mossad agents too."
Goffman is a Belarusian-born former military secretary to Netanyahu with no Mossad background. He takes over in June, under circumstances that, for now, remain only partly clear. New revelations suggest a critical intelligence divide inside Israel before October 7th. With efforts to target senior Hamas leadership in Lebanon reportedly blocked despite repeated recommendations. According to the report, Shin Bet had, for years, identified Lebanon as a permissive operating environment for Hamas leaders and pushed for their elimination between 2017 and 2022. Detailed intelligence dossiers were prepared on multiple high-value targets and passed to Mossad, which held operational responsibility for overseas assassinations. Among the individuals reportedly marked for elimination was Saleh al-Aruri, described as a key architect of the October 7th attacks, along with Khalil Haraz and Azam al-Aqra, senior Hamas operatives in Lebanon. However, the Mossad repeatedly declined to advance those operations, citing prioritization decisions that placed the Palestinian arena lower on its operational agenda at the time. Before October 7th, Israel had not yet adopted widespread aerial assassination tactics in Lebanon, meaning such operations would have required covert, ground-based execution, further limiting feasibility and raising operational risks. The revelations come amid intensified Israeli operations in Lebanon. Since the start of Operation Roar of the Lion, the Israel Defense Forces says it has killed more than 1,400 Hezbollah fighters, raising questions about whether similar action against Hamas leadership could have altered the pre-war threat landscape. In response to the report, the Mossad rejected the claims.
This is false information. The Mossad has acted aggressively for years to eliminate and harm senior Hamas figures abroad, in accordance with the division of responsibility.
The agency dismissed the allegations as inaccurate, defending its record of operations against Hamas figures outside Israel. The disclosure highlights a potential intelligence gap in the years leading up to October 7th, raising enduring questions over prioritization, missed opportunities, and whether early action in Lebanon could have reshaped the trajectory of the conflict.